So today we're actually going to talk about messaging structures, right? And this can be messaging for ads. This can be messaging for DM conversations. This can be messaging for your posts. What key elements need to be present in order to make this an effective messaging strategy, right? So the first and foremost important key item, number one, is going to be your headline or your hook, right? What is a hook? A hook is just a fancy word for what used to be a headline, right? If you remember, if you're like my age or older, you're going to remember newspapers. Funny story, used to be a newspaper deliverer. It was one of my first jobs. When I was 12 years old, I applied and I received the position of newspaper deliverer. That's right. And it was a 7-day-a-week job. And weekends, it was that the paper had to be delivered to all of the houses by 7 a.m. And so it started for me at 4 a.m. on the weekends. And then we had to deliver them weekdays by 5 p.m. Right. So that started directly after school. I'd grab the papers and I would go and do my route, right? And so back then, the newspaper used to have your headlines. And what was your headline? It was literally the first thing you see that draws your attention, right? Draws your eyes to it. And it's something to interrupt the pattern of what you're doing or interrupt what you're doing to grab your attention, to hook you in and make you want to read the rest of the article, right? So that's all a hook is a headline. A headline is just something that is an interrupter of whatever they're doing to grab attention and to hook them in to where it's like, okay, I do want to read about this, or I do want to learn about this, or I do want to watch this video because this is something that interests me. This is something that grabbed my attention. I'm curious. I want to know. I want to learn. I want to see this, right? That's all it is. So the first piece of your content is going to be your headline. And I'm going to put hook in parentheses. Okay, so first, headline, your hook. The next thing that I'd recommend is if you're creating a post, if you are creating even a video, if you are creating an ad, what is the value they're getting out of it? What are you going to deliver? What are they going to get from this? Because today, people are inundated and overwhelmed with so much information. So they might see something that's an attention grabber, a headline, right? They might see something that's like, yes, that spoke to me. And that's another thing we'll talk about in a moment, is speaking directly to that one person, right? When you're creating the content, you're going to think about one person. The one person, let's write it. One person you're speaking to. Okay, so you're going to speak to one person and you're going to interrupt what their brain processes, what they're scrolling through, what they're doing. It's a pattern interrupter. It's an alert in their mind. It's a, oh, whoa, that grabbed my attention. What? So you want it to be something that speaks to that one person and really connects with them and makes them want to watch the rest of the video, read the rest of the post, click on the link, whatever it might be. Okay, so second, you're going to, again, let them know what the value is that they're going to get out of this. What are they going to get out of it? Why? Why watch? So here's your value expectation, right? And that is basically, why should I watch? Why should I read? Why should I look? Why should I click? Why should I any of these things? What am I getting from it? What is the expectation that you're setting for me? So I'm going to write one of these out at the end. We're going to go through and actually write out a headline, that headline hook. We're going to write out that expectation of value. And then the next thing you're going to do, right, is sometimes I like to either sneak a CTA in here. And what's a CTA? A call to action. What does that mean? It's just telling somebody what to do next, right? This is what I'd like you to do. This is the action I'd like you to take. It can be anything. It can be, at the end of this video, or stick with me because at the end of this video, I am going to, or stick with me because, at the end, DM me and I'll send you over my free rapid results resource, whatever it might be. So you can stick this in here. This is a maybe depending on the type of content that it is. And from there, you're then going to do what? That's right. You're going to deliver. You're going to deliver the value that you set the expectation for up here in number 2. You set an expectation that you're going to deliver this particular value to them. This is why they should listen. This is why they should stay. This is why they should click, right? You told them why. So now you're going to deliver on that. And that means actually giving what you promised. Okay. All right. So that is number 4. And that is the content. That is what they're tuning in for. The value, the actual value that they're getting from this video, this post, this ad, this whatever it is. Is it the information? Is it the education? Is it the entertainment? What is it that they're getting? Give it to them, right? All right. And then number 5, you then want to go back to your CTA or your call to action, right? Now you want to remind them. Oh, and like I said, just drop a comment below and I'll send over my rapid results resource on XYZ. Or just drop a comment below and I'll send over my call discovery flow script. Whatever it is, a discovery call flow script. It could be, for me, it can be a whole bunch of them because I create them every time I identify a challenge or a problem or something somebody's struggling with. I will create one of these resources and I will then use that if it's applicable, right, to what it is I am talking about. So make sure that whatever it is you're going to deliver, if you're going to give them a rapid results resource that we talked about in another video, by the way, but another training, the rapid results resource, if you're going to give it to them, do make sure that it makes sense and aligns with the value you delivered, right? Whatever you gave them, information-wise, education-wise, whatever problem you're giving them the ability to solve, or you're saying this is how you would do it, you're mapping it out, you then want to make sure that what you're delivering, the rapid result, actually helps them to solve what it is you're talking about, right? It should match up. It's like puzzle pieces. They fit together. So this is the basic structure, really, of any effective messaging. And this is also going to go for emails. This is going to go for really any type of communication, your messaging. Now, can it deviate a little from this? Sure. In some cases, I may not have the CTA. I might instead have a little social proof brag, just reiterating how it's helped someone else in a similar situation. I might have a little 10-second on me to reinforce the why. Are you listening to this person? Why would Christy know what that is, right? So sometimes there's alterations to this. There might be adjustments, but this is the general flow of effective messaging, at least in my opinion, and for working for many of my clients as well. So that is the structure. And now you probably want to see what an example would be, right? So I'm going to write one that I'm actually going to use for an ad that I'm going to publish today. So let's get into that next. Okay, so I didn't want to make you sit through my agonizingly long writing, but I do want to go through an example, right? Because I learn best from actually seeing it in action. So this can be applied to anyone, but we talked about Okay, your headline or your hook. So a simple video that I created that I actually ran as an ad, just this morning, another one. Sometimes I'll just run the videos as ads, right? And we'll talk about that in another video. But it starts out with my headline or my hook, which is, here's why my simple messenger strategy closes more deals than most funnels and takes half the time. So what did I do there? I grabbed attention, right? And I also let people know who this is for. Who's it for? It's for people who want to learn this strategy because they want to, what? Close more deals than most funnels. So they're probably running a funnel of some kind. They're probably running ads, right? And they want to understand the strategy because it's closing more deals than most funnels, probably including theirs. Okay, so I used curiosity to grab them in, and I talked about the benefit they're going to get. I spoke to the one specific person, right? They're running a funnel. They want to close more deals, and now they're curious about, let me just listen because I do want to hear what this messenger strategy is. Let me see if I know this or this is something new or something that I can use to close more deals than my funnel in half the time, right? Okay. So now we're on to number 2. Pardon. So this is the expectation of the value. You're setting an expectation. Why should they listen? Why should they watch this video? Well, Christy says something along the lines of, and this is shorthand, and it might not be exact to the video, so don't hold me to the exact wording, but similar to, okay, so stick with me for the next couple of minutes because I'm going to show you how this method, right, makes it super easy to, whatever it is they want to do, connect with people and close more deals, right, than many of your complex sales funnels out there, right? Because again, we're talking to who? Somebody who's probably already running ads with a funnel, or they've thought about it, or they've read about how to do this. And so we're saying, all right, stick with me, and I'm going to show you how this method, why, how it connects with people better, how it closes more deals than many complex, complicated sales funnels out there without the high cost, all right? Because that's another thing. They're probably paying a lot of money if they're running a complex funnel. Sometimes they're appropriate, but it's not for everyone, right? You might be able to save money. You might be able to maximize your ROA. You might be able to cut costs and without constantly making the adjustments necessary, right? And the testing. And then I say something like, oh, and by the way, this is the exact same method that not only I use, but I've used for thousands of my clients. And I give an example. For example, this week, I had 2 clients wherein we were able to increase the amount of booked calls for their week by 40%. And it's a non-salesy method. And these guys did not have a large following. All true. I make sure that I'm giving true info. Okay, so don't give fake info, give real info. If you don't have it, then you can be more generic and you can create something that is honest. And maybe it's, this is the funnel that someone else used, or this is Christy's funnel, or this is something that has worked for, you can say something as long as it's true. Right? So you're going to also put that in. I put that social proof in there, right? And what I did was I connected them to other people in similar situations, right? So they're thinking, okay, so this could work for me. It's working for others. Let me listen more because it could work. Okay. So we've done number 1 and we've done number 2, and we're going to look at, and there's our social proof, by the way, and we can put in a CTA here. I did not in mind, but you can say, oh, and by the way, at the end, I will, tell you what to do to get a copy of this exact strategy or this messenger script that helped 2 clients just this week book 40% more appointments on the calendar, right? So you can drop your CTA here, or almost like your teaser, right? This is your teaser of your CTA. So you're kind of hooking them in and keeping them with you so they don't drop off. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to deliver. We're going to give them the content. I'm going to sit there and I won't take you through it. You're welcome to go watch the video if you'd like. But basically, I take them through about a minute and a half of me explaining, number one, what it is. Number two, why it's working. And number three, letting them know, okay, so, normally a funnel can act as a black hole. Your leads are going in and they're getting lost. They're not coming down and out the funnel onto your calendar, right? Here's your calendar. And please pardon, I am not an artist. I am actually someone who can't even draw a stick person, no joke. So, I'm a strategist, data and analytics, not art. Only creative bone in my body is, I do competitive dance and I play piano, instruments, things like that. But forget anything drawing or crafts, no. All right, so black hole in the funnel, right? And that's it's speaking directly to their problem again, right? One of their little problems is that they've got flow into the funnel, but it's number one, expensive. So we're going to talk about that piece, right? It has this black hole. They get stuck. So nothing's flowing out of the funnel into the calendar. And guess what? If it's not flowing into the calendar, then what's that mean? Yeah. No appointments, no sales, no profit, no revenue. Okay. So, and then I tell why. Why does this work? What's going on? I'm really focused around this little mini piece of a big problem. This is a little problem right here. And this strategy, I'm explaining how it fixes this problem. Super simple, right? Super simple. And then what am I going to do after I do my minute and a half of explaining what it is? I'm mapping it out, just like any of you have watched the discovery call flow that I talk about, or have received a copy of the discovery call flow script. And remember, I call it a script, but I hate scripts in reality, because you're going to adjust it based on what you're learning and how the conversation takes place, right? You're going to want it to be an authentic conversation. But either way, okay. So now we're going to go down to your CTA, right? And so this is where I say, if you want a copy of my DM connection code that has back to the value, drop a comment below and I will send it over. Super simple, right? So I told them what to do. And guess what? If they were listening to all of this and they're hearing, yes, I have this problem. Yes, I have this problem. Yes, I don't have a big following. This is a problem. When they're hearing all these problems and you're tying it back to why, where's the why? There it is. Why this solves it. They're going to be like, yeah, I want a rapid result resource that fixes that. And it gives them what? A rapid result. It gives them a quick win. It gives them something they can use right away. So when they DM me, guess what I do? Exactly what I said I would. I send over a copy of my DM connection code script, right? The guide. And they can start using it right now. Put it up. Let's go. Start using it. Start using this to create a conversation flow that is going to either A, close a deal, or B, move them to the next stage, which is what? Booking a call on their calendar, right? So this process of messaging works really well in content for me and for clients. And so I'm not saying there is not a place for a funnel. There is. But a lot of people out there will tell you, all right, we're going to use this cookie cutter solution, right? I actually was sitting through a conference just recently, and they are literally just telling you, here's a copy. This is the funnel you need to run. And if you're a coach or consultant or whatever it is, you need to run this to this webinar. You need to run this to your VSL. You need to run this to this 4-step process. And here's what you do. And that is not a bad process. I'm not knocking the process. But what I was knocking was the fact that that room was also filled with a lot of people that are just starting out, or they don't have a lot of warm traffic right now, right? They don't have a big following. And so what's going to happen is it might yield results, but probably not the results they're looking for to justify what they're spending. Okay. And it's not that it's a wrong process. It is an effective process. And when they're saying, well, it's worked for all these people, it has worked for all these people, but everybody's not at the same stage at the same time. And so you really need to customize your specific marketing and ad strategy to where you are right now. And everybody's at a little bit different stage in the process. If this is the journey here, some people are going to be starting out down here, and somebody might be midway, and somebody might be way over here, and this funnel that they're talking about works 100% great, right? And maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's something else wrong with it, and we need to analyze that. So each person's at a different stage. And so what I didn't like about it is saying you have to have this really complicated process. You have to have this expensive process if you want to be successful. That's not the case. We scale people on a really tiny budget all the time because they're starting out. And guess what? Most people starting out don't have a huge budget. So they have to work with what they have. So we're going to use methods that are going to simplify and cut costs in order to get them started. Now, as they grow, there is a time and a place for other processes to come into play. Remember, your strategy, it pivots and it adjusts and it's fluid and it changes based on where you are in the journey. Okay, so this is an example of messaging I would use to create content. And it can be used video style, reels. It can be used for certain emails. It can be used for posts. I have actually, if you're going to do cold email outreach, this, I'm not saying this can't work, but you still want your headline hook and your expectation of value, but because it's got to be really short, or when I'm doing LinkedIn outreach for myself or for clients, that has to be really, really short, right? They're looking at a line or two, and I have to basically hook them in with just that. And so that structure might look a little bit different, modified, but it's the same general idea, right? So this is something that I would recommend putting into play. And if you would like a copy of either this messaging step strategy, right, or my DM connection code strategy, then drop a comment and I am happy to send it over.